Many people imagine the rapture as a sudden dramatic event that will leave the world in shock, a moment so overwhelming that everyone will witness it at once. This is the image that movies, novels, and popular discussions often paint. The sky opens, a bright light appears, and the faithful disappear in an instant. The intensity of this idea captures attention, excites imaginations, and even frightens some, but it also misleads many about the true nature of the rapture. The truth is far more subtle, far more profound, and far more personal than any external spectacle could convey. It is easy to focus on the visible and the dramatic, but the deeper meaning of the rapture lies in what it represents within the human spirit. To truly understand it, one must look beyond the surface and explore the spiritual essence behind the event that so many anticipate with curiosity or anxiety. The misconception that the rapture is primarily a show for everyone to witness often leads people to wait passively, expecting something outside themselves to define their spiritual journey. They check signs in the world, listen to predictions, and look for headlines that confirm what they hope will happen. In doing so, they overlook the vital truth. The rapture is not about external drama. It is about internal readiness. It is not a spectacle to observe. It is a transformation to experience. The focus should never be on the moment itself, but on the state of one's heart, mind, and spirit when that moment arrives. Life, after all, is about preparation. And no event, no matter how extraordinary, can replace the work of personal growth and moral alignment. Understanding this requires a shift in perspective. The rapture is less about being suddenly lifted into the sky and more about being spiritually attuned and aligned with purpose. It is about living each day with consciousness and integrity, nurturing qualities such as love, compassion, patience, and faith. Those who wait for the dramatic moment without cultivating these inner virtues may find themselves unprepared when the true significance of the rapture unfolds. It is a call to action, not a call to mere observation. Each individual's experience will be shaped not by external chaos or spectacle, but by their readiness, their moral awareness, and their spiritual engagement with the world around them. This idea also challenges the notion of uniformity. The rapture is not a one-size-fits-all event that happens in the same way for everyone. It is deeply personal, reflecting the unique journey and choices of each individual. While one person may perceive it as a sudden shift in consciousness, another may experience it as a gradual transformation in their understanding and faith. What matters is not the external sign, but the internal readiness. The way a person has cultivated their spirit, aligned their actions with higher principles, and prepared themselves to meet the divine in a state of openness and devotion. In essence, the misconception that the rapture is a spectacle distracts people from what truly matters. The moment itself is not the prize, the preparation is. It is in the daily practice of integrity, in the cultivation of faith, and in the conscious alignment of one's life with purpose that the rapture finds its meaning. Waiting for a dramatic external event without attention to these internal realities is like planting a seed and never watering it, expecting it to grow on its own. The true power of the rapture lies not in sudden appearances or shocking displays, but in the transformation of the human spirit, ready and awake to meet it when the time comes. True readiness for the rapture is not measured by excitement, speculation, or the act of watching the skies. It is not about timing, predictions, or preparing for a spectacle that may or may not meet the expectations of popular imagination. Instead, it is about cultivating a life that is in alignment with purpose, faith, and moral integrity. Too many people focus on the external signs, waiting for a moment that they believe will define their spiritual fate, while neglecting the inner work that truly matters. The rapture is a matter of preparation, not observation. To be truly ready, one must look within, examine the heart, and ensure that every thought, action, and intention is in harmony with higher principles. Spiritual readiness is not passive. It does not happen by accident or by simply believing that an event will occur one day. It requires conscious effort, reflection, and deliberate action. Being ready means living a life of discipline, compassion, and devotion every single day. It means examining your relationships, your habits, your priorities, and your mindset. It means asking difficult questions. Are my actions aligned with my values? Am I cultivating patience, kindness, and faith? Am I prepared to meet the rapture not as a distant expectation, but as a lived reality of spiritual maturity? These are the questions that matter because they shape the inner state that determines how one experiences the divine at the moment of transition. One of the most common mistakes is to imagine readiness as a singular moment, like putting on a uniform or receiving a signal that it is time. True readiness is cumulative. It is built over time through consistent choices, small acts of kindness, persistent prayer, moral accountability, and the conscious pursuit of integrity. Each decision to act rightly, each effort to grow spiritually, and each moment of reflection contributes to a readiness that no sudden event can create on its own. Waiting without action is not readiness, it is assumption. And assumptions rarely prepare anyone for the reality that life presents. Another crucial aspect of readiness is understanding that the rapture is not about escaping challenges, but about facing them with a transformed perspective. It is not a reward for avoiding difficulties. It is the recognition of consistent faithfulness and alignment with truth. People often imagine the rapture as a moment that will remove them from life's struggles, but in reality, it is the culmination of a life lived in awareness, courage, and devotion. It is the reward for embracing life's lessons, for practicing integrity even when it is inconvenient, and for nurturing a spirit that remains resilient in the face of adversity. Spiritual readiness also requires humility. It demands acknowledging that no amount of speculation or external preparation can replace the inner work of the soul. It is about surrendering ego, releasing fear, and embracing the unknown with trust and faith. Being ready means understanding that the journey towards spiritual alignment is continuous. Every day offers an opportunity to refine character, deepen faith, and cultivate awareness. The rapture is not simply an event to witness, it is a reflection of a life consistently prepared, nurtured, and aligned with higher principles. Ultimately, the idea of readiness shifts the focus from waiting for the extraordinary to living the ordinary with extraordinary attention. It reminds us that the present moment, the choices we make today, and the way we live our lives now are what determine the experience of the rapture. By prioritizing inner alignment over external speculation, by cultivating faith, integrity, and awareness, we prepare ourselves not for a sudden spectacle, but for a transformative moment that is deeply personal, meaningful, and inevitable for those who are truly ready. The rapture is not simply an event to be witnessed, it is a profound call to transformation. Many people focus on the idea of being taken suddenly or dramatically, imagining a visible external change. But the deeper truth is that the rapture is far more about internal change than outward spectacle. Transformation lies at the heart of readiness. It is the refining of character, the strengthening of faith, and the alignment of one's life with purpose. Those who wait only for the dramatic moment may miss the true significance entirely because the event itself is secondary to the spiritual growth required to experience it fully. The essence of the rapture is personal development, the shaping of the soul, and the awakening of awareness. Transformation begins with a conscious examination of the self. It requires honesty about one's actions, thoughts, and intentions. To experience the rapture as it is meant to be, a person must cultivate qualities that reflect the higher principles of life, integrity, humility, patience, and love. These qualities cannot be developed overnight, They are the product of consistent effort, self-reflection, and dedication over time. Every act of kindness, every moment of self-discipline, and every choice to align one's life with spiritual truth contributes to this transformation. The rapture rewards those who have taken the time to refine their character and nurture their soul, rather than those who merely speculate about the event's timing or nature. Another essential aspect of transformation is understanding that the rapture is an ongoing process rather than a single instant. The idea of being suddenly swept away can mislead people into thinking that preparation is a one-time effort, or that spiritual growth can be postponed until the moment approaches. In reality, transformation is gradual. It happens every day through prayer, meditation, reflection, and deliberate choices that bring one closer to spiritual alignment. Each day provides an opportunity to strengthen faith, cultivate patience, forgive, and show compassion. The rapture is a culmination of this ongoing transformation, not the starting point. Those who embrace it as such are prepared for the deeper meaning of the experience. Transformation also involves perspective. It requires seeing life through a lens that values spiritual depth over material or superficial concerns. Many people focus on wealth, status, or comfort, mistakenly believing that these external markers indicate readiness. True transformation demands turning inward, recognizing the impermanence of worldly achievements, and prioritizing growth, purpose, and faithfulness. It is about understanding that the rapture is not a reward for earthly success, but for spiritual maturity, for the consistent effort to live in alignment with higher truths, and for the cultivation of a life that resonates with meaning and devotion. Furthermore, the rapture challenges each individual to embrace accountability. Transformation demands that one take responsibility for thoughts, actions, and choices. It asks us to confront weaknesses, overcome fears, and pursue continuous improvement. This accountability is not burdensome, it is liberating. It enables a person to rise above distractions, focus on what truly matters, and prepare for a moment that is as much about who they have become as it is about what happens externally. Transformation is, in essence, the bridge between ordinary life and extraordinary spiritual experience. Ultimately, the rapture will not be about spectacle, drama, or sudden events as commonly imagined. It will be about the inner readiness that comes from transformation. It is about a life intentionally lived with purpose, integrity, and devotion. Those who understand this, who embrace the daily work of refining their character and deepening their faith, will find themselves prepared to meet the rapture in a way that is profound, personal, and transformative. In the end, the rapture is not an external event to be feared or anticipated. It is a reflection of the transformation that has already occurred within the heart and soul. The rapture is not a uniform event, it is a deeply personal experience, unique to each individual. One of the most common misunderstandings is to imagine it as a single collective moment for everyone on earth, a shared spectacle that happens in exactly the same way for all. But the reality is far different. The rapture reflects each person's spiritual journey, choices, and alignment with truth. It is not measured by what happens externally, but by the state of the heart and mind when that moment arrives. This individual nature of the rapture emphasizes that preparation cannot be generic. It must be tailored to one's own life, challenges, and growth. Each person's readiness depends on their own spiritual awareness and moral alignment. Two people living in the same environment may experience the rapture in entirely different ways because their hearts, intentions, and actions differ. Some may experience it as a moment of profound awakening, while others may perceive it as a subtle, quiet transformation. The external world does not dictate readiness, personal responsibility, and self-reflection do. Understanding this personal aspect transforms the way we approach life, turning everyday choices into opportunities for spiritual preparation and growth. Spiritual awareness is a key part of this personal readiness. It requires consistently examining oneself, recognizing flaws, embracing humility, and striving to improve. It is not enough to rely on belief alone, or to hope that one will be swept away without effort. The rapture demands conscious engagement with life, thoughtful reflection on actions, and a commitment to aligning decisions with higher principles. This personal accountability ensures that the rapture is experienced meaningfully rather than as a confusing or frightening event. It is an affirmation of one's spiritual growth and dedication, a reward for consistent effort and faithfulness. Moral alignment is equally important. The rapture is not simply about being present or physically prepared. It is about living in harmony with truth, integrity, and purpose. Those who have nurtured kindness, practiced compassion, and chosen honesty in every circumstance will experience the rapture differently than those who have ignored their conscience or neglected their spiritual duties. Each choice, each act of devotion contributes to readiness. The rapture is essentially a mirror of the life one has led, reflecting personal growth, ethical alignment, and the cultivation of virtue. This personal experience also emphasizes the importance of individualized preparation. While communities, teachings, and guidance can inspire and direct, ultimately each person must take responsibility for their own readiness. External signals, predictions, and speculations cannot substitute for the work of the soul. True readiness comes from consistent spiritual practice, reflection, prayer, and the intentional cultivation of character. The rapture is not a universal formula or predictable pattern. It is a reflection of who a person has become over time. Recognizing the individual nature of the rapture also encourages a deeper sense of urgency and purpose. It reminds us that no one else can live our spiritual journey for us, and no one else's preparation guarantees our own. Each moment is an opportunity to grow, to make choices that align with truth, and to prepare for an event that is ultimately beyond our ability to control externally. The focus shifts from external anticipation to internal transformation, from speculation to action, from waiting to living intentionally. Ultimately, the personal nature of the rapture transforms it from a concept of fear or curiosity into a profound call for self-reflection and growth. It is an invitation to embrace life fully with integrity, awareness, and purpose. Each person's rapture will be unique because each person's journey is unique. What matters most is not how it will happen, but how ready one is to meet it in spirit, heart, and mind. In this way, the rapture becomes less about spectacle and more about the life one has intentionally cultivated, the values one has embraced, and the spiritual alignment one has achieved. Living with urgency and intention is one of the most important aspects of preparing for the rapture. Many people spend their lives waiting for a future moment, imagining that some dramatic event will suddenly change everything. They postpone meaningful actions, delay personal growth, and assume that preparation can happen at the last minute. But the truth is that readiness is cultivated in the everyday choices we make, in the small decisions, and in the consistent effort to live a life of purpose. Every moment matters because the rapture will not wait for hesitation, and it will not overlook the opportunities that were ignored. True readiness is about embracing life fully and intentionally, with a sense of urgency that motivates constant growth. Living with intention means prioritizing what truly matters. It requires evaluating every action, every thought, and every interaction to ensure it aligns with principles of faith, integrity, and compassion. In a world full of distractions, it is easy to get caught up in temporary pleasures, superficial achievements, or the pursuit of things that ultimately hold no lasting value. Urgency reminds us that time is finite, and intention ensures that every choice contributes to spiritual growth, moral alignment, and preparation for the moment when the rapture occurs. Those who live without urgency often miss opportunities for growth, while those who cultivate intention turn every day into a step toward readiness. The urgency of spiritual preparation is not about fear or panic. It is about awareness and responsibility. It is the recognition that life is fragile, time is limited, and the journey toward alignment cannot be postponed indefinitely. Each day offers a chance to refine character, strengthen faith, and practice the virtues that define spiritual maturity. Waiting passively, expecting the rapture to happen on its own, is a misunderstanding of its purpose. Urgency does not mean rushing recklessly. It means living with conscious dedication and deliberate effort, making choices that bring one closer to readiness and alignment. Intention also shapes the quality of actions. It transforms ordinary moments into meaningful steps towards spiritual preparedness. Simple acts of kindness, daily reflections, consistent prayer, forgiveness, and patience are not trivial. They are the building blocks of readiness. Living intentionally means approaching every challenge, every relationship, and every decision with awareness of how it contributes to personal transformation. It is the commitment to live each day as if it matters, because it does. The rapture, rather than being a distant event to speculate about, becomes the culmination of a life lived deliberately and purposefully. Living with urgency and intention also encourages focus on what is eternal rather than temporary. It teaches that external distractions, material concerns, and the pursuit of recognition are secondary to spiritual growth, moral alignment, and character development. Time spent on superficial matters cannot prepare anyone for the rapture. Only actions guided by intention, faith, and purpose can. Those who live intentionally understand that preparation is not about fear of the unknown, but about actively cultivating the qualities that define readiness, integrity, compassion, humility, and spiritual awareness. Ultimately, urgency and intention turn waiting into action. They transform life from passive observation into active preparation. They remind us that the rapture is not an abstract event to anticipate from afar, but a reflection of the life we build every day. By embracing urgency, we recognize the importance of time. By embracing intention, we ensure that every choice contributes to readiness. Together, they create a life aligned with purpose, deeply rooted in faith, and fully prepared for the transformative experience of the rapture. Those who live in this way do not fear the unknown. They meet it with confidence, awareness, and a readiness born of deliberate action and consistent spiritual growth. The rapture is not an event to be feared, but a moment to be embraced with wisdom, faith, and spiritual readiness. Many imagine it as a sudden snatching away, a shocking occurrence that will leave the world in chaos. This perspective often generates anxiety, speculation, and even fear. However, true understanding reveals that the rapture is not about terror or surprise. It is about the culmination of a life consistently lived with faith, integrity, and spiritual awareness. It is the reward of those who have nurtured their soul, cultivated virtue, and prepared for the transformation that transcends mere external events. Embracing the rapture wisely means focusing not on what will happen outside, but on how prepared one is within, for it is the state of the heart and soul that determines the experience. Preparation begins with conscious engagement with life. Waiting passively, hoping for signs or miraculous intervention does not create readiness. Those who are truly prepared are the ones who live deliberately, who reflect on their choices, and who strive to align every thought and action with higher principles. Embracing the rapture wisely requires daily commitment, the kind of spiritual discipline that strengthens character, deepens faith, and cultivates awareness. It is not about predicting the moment or controlling the circumstances. It's about cultivating a life that resonates with purpose, truth, and devotion, so that when the time comes, the experience is met with clarity, peace, and understanding. Faith plays a central role in this embrace. It is not enough to know about the rapture intellectually or to discuss it in abstract terms. Faith is living belief demonstrated through actions, decisions, and moral alignment. Those who live faithfully cultivate trust, in the process of transformation, in the unseen guidance of spiritual truths, and in the importance of consistent effort. Faith allows a person to approach the rapture not with fear or uncertainty, but with confidence and acceptance. It transforms anticipation into readiness, anxiety into calm, and speculation into meaningful preparation. Embracing the rapture wisely also involves recognizing the importance of spiritual growth as a continuous journey. It is not a single moment of preparation, but the result of years of intentional living, reflection, and personal development. Each act of kindness, every choice to forgive, every effort to nurture patience and compassion contributes to readiness. The rapture is not merely an event. It is the reflection of the life one has cultivated and the spiritual maturity one has achieved. Those who understand this live each day with purpose, knowing that their consistent efforts build the foundation for an experience that transcends fear and drama. Humility is another key element. The rapture is not about pride, competition, or comparing oneself to others. It is an intimate, personal encounter that requires openness, surrender, and acknowledgement of one's dependence on higher truths. Those who approach it with humility recognize that external predictions, worldly achievements, or comparisons with others cannot replace the inner work of aligning the soul with spiritual principles. The reward comes to those who have nurtured their character, strengthened their faith, and lived with conscious awareness of their responsibilities, both to themselves and to the world around them. Finally, embracing the rapture wisely means understanding that it begins in the present moment. Preparation is not a future task, it is a continuous daily commitment. The choices made today, the growth achieved now, and the virtues cultivated each day determine the readiness for this transformative experience. The rapture is not about escaping life or witnessing a spectacle. It is about meeting it fully prepared in spirit, heart, and mind. Those who embrace it in this way do so not with fear or anxiety, but with confidence, purpose, and a deep awareness that readiness is the reward of consistent, intentional, and faithful living.